Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Chelsea Fan TV. My name is Michelle.
And my name is Nina, and welcome back to another episode of our brand new show, Carefree Queens, where we're bringing you the latest talking points surrounding Chelsea Football Club, everything there is to know. And quite frankly, we set an intention, myself and Michelle, with this show that we would like to just brighten up the spirit this season, now more than ever, because I feel like it's needed now more than ever, isn't it? It's so hard to stay positive right now, though, isn't it?
We've
And we're
put
sitting
ourselves
here
up to
all
such a hard
smiles,
task. Yeah,
but
we're
actually
putting
we want to just
ourselves up.
laugh, don't we?
Yeah, no, that's the thing. That was actually so we always do a little brief meeting, the two of us, before we start recording, and our main focus is to laugh rather than cry because this situation is just getting past the point of being like we have all been depressed. I feel like we're at the point now where you're so hurt you can't really do anything but just laugh because
My
we
motto in life is if you don't cry about it, you'll laugh about it. No, if you if you don't laugh about it, you'll cry about it. So here we
yeah.
are, like,
Oh, we're just hiding behind our tears. We're hiding behind the laughter, aren't we?
yeah.
um but let's get to the point, really. You didn't watch the match.
No,
But I
no,
think
I
you
didn't.
spared yourself. I think you spared yourself. Nina had a football match and they
That I
actually
actually
won.
won.
Yeah, congrats.
Jinx.
Honestly, at least some of us are winning. At least. Was it a good game?
Yeah, no, it was a good game. Thank you. We won 1-0, and quite frankly, we kept a clean sheet as well. So that's two things that
Nice.
we did that Chelsea didn't do. So at least one victory to take out of this very, very disheartening weekend, to say the least. But no, like you said, I didn't watch the game. However, I know enough that I need to know how rubbish everything was, to in-game
Yeah.
management, to tactics, to substitutions, to the lineup, to everything else that there is to know. So quite frankly, we're sat here with the same feelings, with the same problems, except the that they're heightened, aren't they? The problems are heightened now because we're at a time in the season where we've not seen a win in 15 games, 16 now after
It's
Tottenham.
been a long time. But the thing is, it's sort of always just it's come to the point now where it's more or less just a copy paste.
Hmm,
We know
that's a good way to put it.
I even thought about putting a bet on Spurs because I knew what this match was going to be about. And I remember everyone being like, "No, we always turn up to the Spurs. We always turn up. It's like we have to. We always do." And I was like, "Guys, I would love to jump on that boat. I really would. But I'm numb at this point. I don't want to sound like a Mister Know It All, but I just guy hasn't showed any sign of improvement. It's just been a copy paste. The tiny improvements there has been the same in every single game. Congratulations, we can pass the ball, but you should have improved more by now. So I should have put a bet on them. I should have.
You should have
It
could have won
sounds
yourself some
so
money
bad, but
to
sorry.
make up for your trips where you came to
Yeah,
watch
you
us
know,
lose
I
against
should have.
Southampton.
I should have get my money back from the many trips I've been on lately. Um, but I mean, I feel like you and I can sort of laugh about it now, but we have to talk about a very crucial news point or breaking news or whatever you want to call it, because the media this last week, um, Potter told that him and his family has been receiving death threats. And that is sort of beyond me. I think it's beyond both of us because there's no doubt he's not delivering, but it's his job. Is not, you don't go down to the grocery store and if they're not performing, they're not doing the job to perfection, you won't give them a death threat either. So I think the critique has gotten a little too far. Don't you agree?
I mean, that's not even criticism, really. Before supporters, before footballers, before managers, before anything else, we're all human beings, okay? And there will never be a justification or an excuse for any type of threat of that, really. You don't threaten the man, you don't threaten his family. So on behalf of every single Chelsea supporter, I think we're all embarrassed really that did happen, and it shouldn't happen. There's a place where you draw the line, and I think that line was just completely, ruined. And I just do want to say we can absolutely sit here and criticize the man because he deserves it.
As
He
we
deserves the
should.
criticism. We can absolutely condemn his manager decisions and everything else. However, there is a boundary that we just don't step over. And that brings me to Potter again. And I think even with stuff like that, that is enough to break a man down, to break anyone down. You're a human being before anything else. So with that, on top of every other criticism he is receiving, along being called, potentially the worst Premier League manager that we've ever seen, that is all a big plate to have on top of the job that you
Very
have
much.
there to keep us in the Champions League, to keep us, I'd say top 10, but potentially not even dropping down to a place where we're fighting in the relegation zone, those sort of jobs. So how do you pick yourself out of that situation to then pick up this team that is
Yeah.
struggling so bad? These players that are coming back from injuries, with mental issues of their own, physical issues of their own, these new signings that are coming in and are, figuring out how they fit into this team, how they can be
Yeah.
integrated. How do you pick up this whole mess and create something of it moving forward? Because I don't see it anymore. And I said last week, I
Mm.
sat here and I said I'm pottering because I don't see Boehly giving up and putting his hands up and saying I got this wrong. We need to restart, and I've got a backup plan, because I don't think that's the case. So we are potentially left as Potter for the end of what seems to be a very long season now. There doesn't seem a game that's coming that I can say confidently we're going to win it, because quite
No.
frankly, we were beat by the bottom of the table. We will be beat by every single Premier League side if this continues. And I have zero confidence against Leeds as well. Got beaten by them already, and here comes another
Mm.
one potentially at home. So where do we go here? I just don't see Potter having that mental ability, that physical ability to bring the squad together in the dressing room and to absolutely change anything now. I think it's too late. And I think with yesterday's game, I think that just solidified it, completely reinforced it, that Potter has got no clue, unfortunately. He could be a
Mm.
lovely man on the outside world, but unfortunately, this job he has at Chelsea Football Club right now is too big of a plate for him. And that's it.
And it's so unfortunate because touching on the dressing room, how excited were we? For some reason, we've been so naive for so long. But I think that's beautiful at the same point, at the same time as well, that we, even in times where it's dreadful, we try to see the best in everything. Like, I remember so many being like, we always turn up for Spurs, we always turn up for Spurs, but come on, guys. Like, another point. Like, it's not even, sorry, apologies. Like, we didn't even get a point. Like, it's just, do you know what I'm trying to say? It's
Yeah,
like,
no, I do. And you're
um,
right, though. You're right, because apparently, supposedly, we always turn up for Tottenham. Tottenham is that one game that we go full fire in. Fans, footballers, every single one. You expect that of a game of that much magnitude. Over the
mm,
history, we have a rivalry with Tottenham that makes watching football, watching that game particularly entertaining, particularly interesting. What did we see? We haven't conceded
yeah,
or lost a game at their stadium, and then here we are. We've lost and we've conceded two at their
yeah.
stadium, so we've broken two records there, and and
History
not in a
written.
positive way. And
No,
like
it's
you said, we will go to the players, because amidst everything that was happening, we saw poor results of Potter kind of following from the World Cup and sort of up until the transfer window. But the transfer window gave us hope, though, Michelle, didn't it? It gave us something to be
both of
excited
them, both of
about.
them.
Boehly showed and demonstrated that he is investing into this squad long term for the next 6, 7, 8 years. And he said Potter's the man for this. So he brought in these players that fit this plan, this long term project supposedly, and trusted that Potter will be able to bring out the best out of every single one of those quality players that we did in for heaps amount
Mm.
of money. Because how much did we spend on them? 300 million in
Uh,
one window on absolutely really talented players. That is absolutely right. However, you can have the most talented squads, but if there isn't that leader, if there isn't that mentality there that gels everyone together, that unites everyone in the dressing room and sends them out on that pitch with a point to prove, it is useless. it is
It
absolutely
is.
useless because that quality is to waste. And we saw it yesterday. That quality was sat on the bench in a game of that much magnitude. They're sat rotting, watching the game from the bench. What does it matter when you bring them on 2-0 down? What does that change? No, the manager's tactics should be, they should be seen beforehand. They should be anticipated. If something goes wrong, you're
Mm,
1-0 down, you switch it up, you change it up. And you bring the passion from the sideline. That is the game
yeah.
where we're full fire, where Tuchel is ripping Conte's head off at the end of it
Oh,
because that's how much
days.
it means. We didn't see nothing of it.
Mm.
Nothing.
I remember in my fan cam in Dortmund, I said, or was it in London? In either of them, I said, we're the biggest joke in football right now. And we are. We spent
Oh
so
yeah.
much money on players, quality players. And like you said, and I've said this for so long, and I was sort of doubting myself if I was being too harsh, if I was being too harsh on the manager, if I should be more patient, etc. But at the end of the day, it always comes down to him because he is the central point. He should be the one, the magnet to the squad. So
Mm.
you can, and I think this is a perfect example. You can have the best players, but if you don't have a good enough coach to manage them, it's going to be a waste. And
Yeah.
we were so excited to bring Sterling in, Enzo in, Kukurea. We were so excited for so many players. And who has actually lived up to the expectations we have for them? Has any of them lived up to your expectations?
Do you know what? It's funny you say that because the first you mentioned Cucurella there, and then of course he's part of Potter's plan, isn't he? Potter's managed him before. He's done well. He's Premier League proven. All of that jazz. Creative, paid 60 million, comes with an expensive price tag, but fits Potter's system. So we're
Yeah,
invited to believe that he's a fantastic opportunity to replace Chilwell. When he was injured, and also
yeah.
just have that depth when Chile comes back because he will always be our first pick as a left back, as a left wing back. He will always be first pick. However, as an injury prone player, he needs that backup. We need that depth, and that's what
Mm,
Cucurella came in to do, there. So here I am now questioning whether that was a sensible signing because Potter isn't even bringing the best out of him, really. We've seen Cucurella
no.
have some very poor games. He's been very costly of I'd say a fair amount of goals that we have conceded or a fair few
Oh,
mistakes that we have
absolutely.
made. So you say that, have they actually prospered? Well, if Potter doesn't even know what to do with kind of essentially one of his own and he's not really brought the
Mm,
best out of him, then how do we expect him to do that with new quality, with players that are arriving from different, teams in Europe and different leagues? How do we expect Potter to have the ability to be able to bring the best out of them? So looking forward, yeah, we've got great transfers, but even if we give him time, is he really able to bring out the best in these players and find a system that
mm,
works, find a formation to be able to bring out the best in them? Because players that I have particularly, really liked that have come in, for example, Buddy Isham, and I think he's done an amazing job, but I wouldn't really give that down to Potter. He looks like a very
mm.
composed player. He looks like he knows what he's doing. He stood very well with Thiago Silva in that back too. And I think
Absolutely.
that's down to him as an individual. However, I think
Yeah,
moving forward, a bit further up the pitch, players like Mudryk and Madueke who have fantastic individual quality. We saw them, great kind of ideas for creativity,
yeah.
even dribbling, even stuff like passing and creating chances. However, they look like they're lacking that manager to tell them exactly what is needed of
That's
them in
the
the
thing,
game.
right?
They
That's the
look
thing.
they look like to me that they're trying to almost rely on their own talent, their own kind of quality, and just
Yeah.
and just fit in the game somehow, create a chance, maybe get a shot and score a goal. I don't think I can say that Potter has really done something with one individual player right now that has really prospered them. And what is he relying on? Mount and Havertz week in, week out. Rest him one
Mm,
game, comes off the bench, gives a
yeah.
few good minutes, and then he's in the starting lineup again. And I'm not going to sit here and blame this all on Havertz because, quite frankly, he's not the only underperforming player in our squad. Let's
No.
be real.
Being played out of
However,
position as well.
yeah, however, it's not just the results right now that I'm
No.
seeing that and justifying that that's why we shouldn't back Potter right now.
It
It's
goes way
also the
deeper.
it's also looking forward. What am I going to see from Potter that is
Yeah.
actually going to bring these amazing, talented players that are here to prosper in Chelsea for the next 5, 6 years and are meant to be, becoming the best kind of players in Europe? You see what I'm getting
Yeah.
at? Yeah.
No, but I get it. And I think it's so interesting. If you think about it, Mudryk, first game, everyone was so impressed. Everyone was like, we all know who this reminds of us. Hazard 2.0. Zhao coming on his first game, everyone was so impressed. First 15 minutes he played, everyone was like, this is our Lord and Savior. Like that was almost to the point where we're like, he's gonna turn it upside down. And you have Nani as well. You have Fana. You have Enzo. Enzo first game, everyone was so impressed. So if you think about it, and if you look at it that way, every single player we brought in that first game, maybe that two first games, we've been so impressed because they're brand new. They're hungry to prove themselves. They want to give a good first impression, and I get that. I get that. But you have a manager for a reason, and I feel like when you've passed that point where you're the new kid, I know you're still new. They're still new, but I feel like Potter is sort of doing the opposite of what he's supposed to do. He's supposed to back them. He is supposed to bring out the best in them, keep their qualities up, even like improve their qualities as well. And it's gone the wrong way because we were so excited for more or less every single signing at the first game. They were so impressive. They looked so hungry. They looked the way you would want a player to look throughout the whole season, like season in, season out. And I
Mm.
think that's where you need a manager. He is the central point. I've said it so many times. He is the one who's supposed to sort of like continue having a really good foundation, continue to push the players, continue to make sure they grow. Like, do you know what I'm getting at? I just think it's
Yeah,
such an
no, I do.
interesting
I do.
take of it that they're not supposed to do this on their own. Why would you have a coach
A
then? Like
manager.
they I think it's frustrating. I've said this so many times, but I genuinely cannot wrap my head around how you can how you can be a professional football coach and you and I sitting here. I personally feel like my points are very down to it's simple. Really, I find it so simple. You are the central point. You are supposed to bring the best out in these players. They're quality players, they're really good. But to me, it looks like you're tearing them down. I know it's not intentionally, but he is just not cut out for this. It's too big of a job for him. And that's fair
And
enough.
the thing is, I agree with you. And it's also, you have the quality in your squad. We have potentially
Yes,
one of the best squads in Europe now. You
absolutely.
don't need to be, even it's just beyond me because, we can blame the players here as well. This isn't just all Potter. However, he is getting a lot of blame right now
Mm,
because of his choices and because of how he has gone about things. However, we have the at least the basics, or we should have the basics to at least score one goal or keep a clean sheet. And it almost seems, and I'm going to rewind back to last summer because we had issues with goal scoring, with clinical
yes,
finishes. Those are problems that stem back from a long time ago, even towards the end of Thomas Tuchel being at Chelsea. Those were our problems, goal scoring. That's why at the time we brought in Sterling and Aubameyang because they're prem proven. Lukaku,
exactly.
Werner weren't good enough. They couldn't fit into the Premier League style of play, and that would address those issues. However, as we move further along with Potter coming in, we kind of almost undid everything, and we were now then not being able to create
Absolutely.
chances. The midfield, obviously, that was addressed in January with Enzo Fernandez. However, then now we have the issues of we're not scoring, we're not creating, but we're also conceding. So, quite
Hmm.
frankly, it all seems like a bit of a mess, isn't it? And it's not like we don't have the quality to at least bring up one result in a Southampton game or in the Dortmund game because we could have at least gotten a win there. So it's also it is the players, and like you said, it is the balance. It's you've got the players, but you also got the manager who is gelling everything together, who is making it happen, who is
Yeah.
changing things week out. I don't want to hear, oh, we're looking forward to Leeds now, because quite frankly, that's what he said after the Tottenham Spurs
Yeah.
game yesterday. Oh, yeah, we're looking forward to Leeds. What are we looking
Mm,
forward to, Potter? Another loss?
yeah.
Because come on, we cannot sit here. Honestly, one win, an anomaly of a win, would quite frankly make me happy right now. My student loan is being spent on these games. I just want to see at least a goal, at least a draw, or at least something positive to take away from next game. And I'm still, you call me delusional, call me, crazy for even
Would it
thinking
actually
that.
make you happy?
Sorry,
It
shall
would,
we say
yeah?
we are going to laugh about it, aren't we? Because if not, we'll cry. It is sad. It's pathetic. And I'm from North London. I'm not going back to North London anytime soon. How
Uh,
can I?
yeah.
How can I when I will be the main laughing point amidst my friends? So,
But
you know,
that's just
Chelsea have
sorry.
stripped. No, sorry, I'm just going to go off on this tangent right now. But Chelsea have stripped any kind of confidence, any sort of reputation we have for ourselves right now. It's just beyond me. Beyond me.
Yeah. Would a win actually, I think that's quite a fun talking point. Would a win make you happy? Because it wouldn't make me happy.
Oh my god, yeah.
It wouldn't change anything.
At
Do
least
you
it would make
actually
it.
think?
I genuinely do believe that a win, for example, I mean, we're going to go into this Dortmund game. It's all or nothing into the Dortmund game. Forget the Leeds game on the
Yeah, it's
weekend.
already lost.
The Dortmund game is going to be, I think, because we said that about the Tottenham game. We're going to say this about Leeds game. We're going to keep at it until we get to the end of the season. Really, see
Yeah.
how far we get. However, the Dortmund game would be a real turner, because if we
Yeah.
can actually win that game, it gives us at least something for the rest of the season. We can at least just take the Champions League games and just put all our efforts in there. I don't even know. Honestly, I couldn't tell you, but dropping further in the Premier League isn't good, Michelle. So yeah, quite frankly, we
No.
do we do need a win. We do,
Yeah, no,
because
no, no, we do. We absolutely do. But I remember when we won like the last game we won. It's been a while, but I posted back to winning. I should have never posted that because it was one game and here we are again. That's sort of like the point I want to make. If it's like I I'm having such a hard time believing anything until I see consistency. Because
mm,
we did get a win, but didn't change anything. It changed absolutely nothing. So I think um I said this in the last show as well. I am very skeptical from nature, but this club right now has just enhanced that to like I was at 100%, now I'm at 200%. I Of course I'd be like, nice, a win. But I wouldn't be like, let's go, Chelsea. Like, do you know what I mean? Because
yeah,
I would still have that doubt in the back of my mind. All right,
because
what about
the
next game?
next game we'll lose.
That's the thing you keep thinking about. Like, you almost don't even want to allow yourself to be happy because you're already on to the next game.
hmm
You just
And that's what Chelsea has done to us.
horrible, horrible. But should we wrap it up maybe? Because I feel like we've
Yeah.
touched upon. No, do you know what? I actually do want to talk about something before we leave, because of course we had a lot of expectations for a lot of quality players, a lot of players who's s- who's sort of gotten a what do you say, like a nice reputation, like they're well known, like blah 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 blah. But I think we should sort of talk about if someone surprised you. Like, because you can't know
Mm.
every single player coming into the club. And I mean, there has to be someone.
I mean, I'd say I'm pleasantly very surprised by Madueke. I think Madueke is
Yeah.
the one player that I'm actually most excited about potentially. Of course, you got Enzo and you got Modric and you got players like that essentially. However, for me,
Exactly.
Madueke, with the obviously very little experience he has, played in PSV. He's a Barnet boy as well. He's literally from North London as well. And there's just
Yeah.
something really exciting there, because I think he's come in and he actually has explicitly said he wants to be at Chelsea. He wants to make a
Yeah.
difference. He wants to, he's got this real good attitude. And, even when he's not first pick and he's not being started, not given the opportunity, he remains very positive. He's got a lovely attitude. And I think
Mm,
even little small things like that right now are very important because
absolutely.
it's so hard to have a positive mindset when things are going so terribly wrong. You're on a mad losing streak. You know, your coach looks helpless, doesn't know what to do. So you as
Mm.
a player to have a very positive attitude and to still be able to look
And
forward,
that
even though you've
and
just
at that
arrived,
age as well.
that's admirable in my opinion. You know, he's literally just got comfortable. He's literally just got, or he's probably not really comfortable, but he is getting comfortable because he knows that he's got a big job here to have. And
Yeah.
sometimes the player has a bigger responsibility to motivate themselves in this
Mm,
instance because our manager isn't the most motivating, is he? So
yeah.
to be able to motivate yourself as a player, I think is very important. And if he can keep it up and potentially spread that around the squad, then I think that's going to be great because what happens, our manager has no motivation, our players have no
Mm,
motivation, our fans have no motivation. What's up with
no.
our club? Where do we go
Yeah,
from here?
I
And
get
yeah, so
it.
I think that's a good way
That's a
to
good
end
wrap
it
up.
there.
I think him and Fofana is
Yeah,
honestly the only positive thing I can say about the club right now. Those two, yeah. I'll put my hope in them. The tiniest bit of hope I have right now. Um, but let's wrap it up. Don't
yep.
forget to subscribe to Chelsea Fan TV, like the video, and put your comments down below what you thought about the show, what you think about the club. Um, sort of just give us feedback on everything we touched upon. And yeah, do you have anything to say, Nina?
No, covered it all. Just make sure you like and subscribe. Comment down in the comment section your thoughts, if you agree, disagree with anything we said. I know it's a very low time for us Chelsea fans, but what we can do is
Mhm.
just stick together and just, you know, it's hard to say have faith, and I'm not going to say that. However, stick together. We've got to back our club. This is our club. We support Chelsea, and this is one thing
Yeah.
that unites us. So just stick together. And yeah, over and out. Thank you for watching.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.